Hey everybody, this is the high calorie pasta food for people who are trying to gain weight or just want more calories in their diet. We're doing bacon this time, but this bacon could be any meat. Could do sausage, could do chicken thighs, could do just any high fat meat would work. Don't want to do like lean meats because they'll overcook and they just won't taste good either. Yeah, this is what it looks like when you chop bacon with a dull knife and you are a loser. So next we're gonna do mushrooms. You just cut them in half and then just slice them up. This recipe is like the mushrooms are a lot of the flavor. Besides like having a meat in there, I think this is like the one thing you can't skip. It's they're just responsible for a lot of what makes this good. So if you don't like mushrooms, probably not one for you. A lot of dairy in here as well. If you're not big on dairy, can't handle it very well, or you're allergic or something, probably want to skip this one. So yeah, a lot of mushrooms, probably like 2 or even 3 cups when they're chopped. Now we're gonna do garlic. I can demonstrate my favorite knife technique and the majority reason I have a cleaver, which is, oh, you'll see. Smoosh. Smooshing the garlic, yep. And you want to get that as small as you can because you're going to cook it for a very little time because it burns easily. But, you don't have to get any of this stuff perfect. This isn't a Michelin starred restaurant. You're just cooking for you and maybe your mom or your dog or whatever. So just, get it done. I left this last garlic unpeeled so I can demonstrate my other favorite technique, which is actually just also smooshing. You just smoosh it and the skin comes right off. It's great. Smooshing is an underutilized technique in the kitchen world, I feel. The garlic's optional. If you don't like garlic, just don't put it in. And then next we're going to do all of our other vegetables, which I did celery and onions this time. This can literally be anything. I've done it with leeks and carrots. I've done it with like celery root, which is pretty much just celery. But like these vegetables, this can be anything pretty much. It's really there's almost nothing that'll make it taste bad. Maybe wouldn't use like chili peppers, but you could try it even. I bet it would be fine. Oh yeah, we're doing celery, and you kind of want to shoot for like this little sort of like quarter-inch, half-inch size, just so it all cooks at the same time. But like I said, it's not a big deal. Here I am cutting up an onion. I'm sure pretty much everyone knows how to do this at this point, but you cut one end off, not the root end. It's me looking if it's the root end or not, and then you peel them. In fast forward, you peel them. And then once you got them peeled, you just do uh, the, these slices towards the root, and it's all held together by that root at the end. And then you just cut against what you just cut, and you get nice diced onions with a minimum amount of difficulty. And a lot of people tell you have to like cut into it sideways. That's fake news. You don't have to do that. Our other onion, other half onion, I guess, and then green onion last. This is like you could leave this out as well. It's just to make it look pretty at the end. It goes in very last. You barely even cook it. All right, speaking of cooking, you got your pot on like medium high. If you're ever scared to burn anything or mess anything up about this recipe, just lower the heat. Um, like the only really scary thing that can happen is your heat's way too high and you burn something. But that, like, it's hard to burn bacon. Just don't have your pan on full blast. And you can have it as low as you want. Realistically, it's just the lower it is, the longer every step is going to take. So when you're browning meat, you want to try to get like one kind of layer. So I'm poking everything and making sure it's stuck together so there's no bacon that's on top of other bacon and not in contact with the pan. And you just leave it for a little, and then you poke it some more. Big part of cooking is just poking things. Sometimes effectually, sometimes ineffectually. Just make sure you're poking stuff. Yeah, just give it a stir every once in a while so different parts of the meat are touching the pan. Every meat is gonna brown a little differently. Bacon is like really beginner friendly because there's so much fat on there, and you really can't burn it or overcook it. So it's oh, I'm showing the noodles I'm gonna use. That was helpful, thank you. You know, uh, other meats like chicken or sausage, you might have to cut them a little different. If you're really worried about something, just put a comment on the video or DM me and I'll tell you. But it's all good. It's all pretty easy. For bacon, you're kind of looking for like you don't want to go too crazy on it. You just want a little brown around the edges. Like right now you can see it's steaming and there's like water coming out. You don't want any of that in there. So you gotta wait until you're just mostly seeing fat on the bottom, less steam, and like I said, like the edges starting to get kind of brown. Yeah, remember poking stuff, very important. So look, I can see already now that there's like you can see it's mostly clear fat on the bottom. There's like way less steam, and I'm probably past me probably has decided that that's the case as well. So probably gonna add the mushrooms any second now. Any second now. Okay, we're poking it one more time. Probably could have sped this up too, man. Who edited this video? Anyway, there's the mushrooms. You can see like on the bacon around the edge that there's like the fat has started to kind of get a little more golden and stuff. Like you don't, because it's still gonna cook with all the vegetables in there, so you don't want to go too crazy. When you add the mushrooms, you add like a big helping of salt. That'll help water come out of the mushrooms. The reason we put the mushrooms in first is to get rid of because there's a ton of water in mushrooms, and if the water is in them when you add the cream or whatever liquid you're using for your sauce, it's just gonna be watery and not nice. Um, and the salt helps pull the water out of the mushrooms as well as cooking them. I think I'm trying to find a mushroom to show you here. Yes, so you can see. You can't really see it, but it's like really shiny already, even though it's only been like 10 seconds. That's the water starting to come out already. So we just got to cook. We got to pre-cook the mushrooms before we add the other vegetables till they're you know, like we get a lot of the water out, which kind of you just gotta. It's a little hard to know what to look for, but basically you don't want them to have like burn marks or scorch marks or color. So this is a part where I'm going to be poking a lot, and you should as well, just to keep it moving. So you're not actually like frying your mushrooms. You just want to get all the water out. And again, if you're worried about it, just lower the heat. Your mushrooms are starting to be done when they've shrank like a lot. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but when I added the mushrooms, it like was like half full, and now it's like just at the bottom again. So these look pretty good. A little less steam, no obvious water in the pan, so we're probably gonna add the rest of our veggies pretty quick here. Yeah, that's looking good. So here go the onions and the celery. And you're also just going to cook these, like at this point, as long as you got enough water out of your mushrooms, you pretty much can't mess it up. Like you undercook your onions, they'll be a little crunchy. Oh, didn't cut that one. Um, Not a big deal. You celery undercooked, maybe it's like a little stringy. Again, not a big deal, and you'll get better at it every time you do it. But like the flavors are going to be in there no matter what, so you're going to have a yummy sauce even if you undercook or overcook these vegetables. And it's like you're on low medium heat here. We're in the home stretch. So now I think my celery and onions are looking good. Um, so we're adding thyme, garlic powder, pepper. This is all granny measured. I can't give you measurements for this. You just gotta, you know, sort of decide how much of each of those things you want. I like a lot of pepper. Maybe you don't. See, I was gonna pull that mushroom out because it's a little color. You see how it's a little bit burnt. That mushroom was on the bottom of the pan for too long. You want to avoid that if you can. Nobody's perfect. Okay, so onions. You're kind of looking for them to change color a little bit, be a little clear. Celery is impossible to tell when it's cooked, so you just guess. So right before you add your liquids, you put the garlic in, and I didn't speed this up at all because I want you to see how little time it is that this needs to cook before it can burn. And burnt garlic tastes bad. It's really bitter. So, but yeah, like maybe 20 seconds. Yeah, look at me flipping, getting all fancy and shit. You can just stir it. Okay, so yeah, that's like I said, like literally 30 seconds to a minute, not even. And now we're gonna put our liquids in, so the garlic is not touching a hot pan anymore. So that's cream, and that's not enough cream. So what you're gonna want to do is check how much cream you have in your cream container before you cook this instead of after, like I did. It's okay. I have more in the fridge. There we go. So you can see when I'm stirring this, it's like not. Oh, I even slowed it down. I'm a genius. It's like not that thick. You can see when I pull my spoon through it, it's like filling in that gap really fast. So that means it's not done. And the longer you cook cream for, the thicker it will get. And we're gonna additionally, so you can already see like, you know, we cooked it for like a little under a minute, and it's already starting to like those gaps that the spoon leaves are kind of staying a little longer. And you can see I'll occasionally drag the spoon through it in a straight line just to see. And you can see it's kind of bubbling a little bit around the edges and stuff, so that means it's time to add the cream cheese. And I have once again not checked how much cream cheese is in the container, and I flung sauce all over my stove. It's okay. I also have another container of cream cheese. And so we're going to stir that cream cheese in there, and that'll thicken the sauce even more, and it adds a lot of calories because cream cheese is pretty rich, and it tastes great. So all wins there. And so you can see when I drag my spoon through there, it's like way slower to fill that in. Now we're tasting it because it's basically done at this point. And it's perfect because I am the goat. But yours might need salt or pepper or whatever. I can't really tell you what to do at this point because what matters is how much you like it. Okay, here is me showing the pasta at the appropriate time. I'm using stuffed pasta. That's another really good way to add calories because it's like extra protein, extra calories for stuffed pasta. You know, these ones all vary. Sausage sasheti, first of all, are very cute and also delicious. I would recommend them to anyone. A little bit pricey. So now you can see when I pull it through, it's like really taking a long time to fill it back in, even on 2x speed there. So that that to me is a sign to turn down the heat a little bit, just because I don't want it to get too much more thick than that, honestly. So I'm just letting the pasta cook. Yeah, at this point the sauce is done. You just give it a little stir every now and then, make sure it doesn't get like a gross skin on it, because it is dairy. And once your pasta's cooked and you drain it, you just you just toss it right in the sauce. Stir it in. Give it maybe another 2 minutes to cook, just to kind of like soak up the sauce a little bit into the pasta. And then you're done. You get to eat it, which is the best part. I'll put the macros in the description for this video. It won't be 100% accurate. It's just an estimate, but close enough. It's mostly fat and carbs, so good for weight gain, but there's a good amount of protein in here too, and it's delicious. So there's that as well.